Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Please subscribe and keep watching more details. Chrisley knows best judge denies Julie Chrisley's special request. A special request made by Julie Chrisley has been denied by the judge. The Chrisley knows best star asked to appear at her upcoming resentencing hearing remotely. However, a judge ruled that Julie would need to be there in person. Keep reading to learn the details of Julie's resentencing. Julie Chrisley asks to appear remotely for resentencing. Todd and Julie Chrisley are both currently serving time in prison for bank fraud and tax evasion. Last September, their sentences were reduced to 10 years for Todd and 6 years for Julie. The couple is attempting to appeal their convictions. Last month, the court decided that Julie wasn't justly sentenced. There was little evidence to prove that the reality show star knew about the bank fraud before 2007. As we previously reported, Julie Chrisley will be resentenced in district court next month. Although the family was happy to hear about the court's decision to resentence Julie, the Chrisley knows best star did not want to appear in person. She filed a motion that explained appearing in Atlanta for the court would cause her undue physical hardship. Julie will have to be transferred via a facility in Oklahoma City or placed in a van for a long period of time to travel. On top of that, she will have to remain shackled the entire time. Alex Little, Julie's attorney, explained her desire to appear remotely. Because Mrs. Chrisley is presently in the custody of the Bureau of Prisons, BOP, outside the state of Georgia, BOP likely would transfer her via the transfer facility in Oklahoma City, or place her in a van for a lengthy, multiple-hour trip while shackled to facilitate her appearance in court, he stated. The courthouse where Julie has to appear is around 400 miles away from where she is serving her prison sentence at FMC Lexington in Kentucky. Judge denies Julie's request, demands her to appear in person. Judge Eleanor L. Ross denied Julie Chrisley's request to appear at her resentencing remotely. The judge made the decision on Wednesday, August 7. She demanded that the Chrisley knows best star appear in person in Atlanta in September. Not only that, but she wants Julie to be in cuffs. The judge issues a notice to law enforcement stating, "You are hereby commanded to have the body of Julie Chrisley by you restrained of her liberty." Judge Ross continued, demanding that Julie be in the courtroom every day until she is discharged by the court. After that, she wrote that Julie would be sentenced and receive and abide by the judgment of this court in the above entitled case, thence to be returned to the custody from which she came. Julie Chrisley had clung to the request like it was a lifeline, a small flicker of dignity, of humanity, in a chapter of her life that had stripped away so much. After months of prison walls, monitored phone calls, and humiliating cavity searches, she had filed a special request with the court to attend her daughter Savannah's upcoming book launch. Not virtually, not in chains, but in person. She wasn't asking for clemency. She wasn't denying her crimes. All Julie Chrisley wanted was a few hours outside the barbed wire fences of FMC Lexington, a moment to feel like a mother again. But the judge didn't flinch. The request was swiftly denied. The ruling came down on a humid Monday morning. A one-page response from the same federal judge who had once looked Julie in the eye during sentencing and told her she had betrayed the public's trust with elegance and calculation. The denial read cold, clinical, no exception to sentencing terms, no deviation from protocol, no mercy. Julie sat silently in the prison's dusty law library, the folded document trembling slightly in her hands. Around her, inmates whispered and shifted, unaware of the private heartbreak taking shape under her neutral expression. Savannah's face floated in her mind, her proud smile, the book she titled Unfiltered Strength. My family, my fire, showing up to the event, even under security, would symbolize something larger, that a mother's love didn't crumble behind concrete walls, that she hadn't fully disappeared. Now she would miss it all. Back in Nashville, Savannah Chrisley tried to hide her disappointment. "I knew it was a long shot," she told the waiting cameras during a live stream cue, and her lips were painted in the same brave new tone she wore during her parents' trial, calm on the surface, volcanic underneath. "She was hoping to be there for me, and I was hoping the judge might see that even someone with a sentence still has a heart. But I guess rules win again." She didn't cry, not in public. But inside, she reeled. The book was more than a personal milestone. It was a torch she had carried for her parents' legacy, tarnished though it was. Savannah had poured herself into those pages, writing from late-night hotel rooms while caring for her brother Grayson and niece Chloe, navigating press scrutiny, and fending off online bullies who labeled her a fraud princess. The book wasn't about innocence. It was about resilience. Julie had edited several chapters by hand, scribbling notes on printed drafts sent through the prison mail system. Too polished, make it raw, she had scrawled on Chapter 4, the one about Ta's breakdown during their first night in custody. She had poured her remaining pride into the project. This denial wasn't just about attending an event. It was about being erased from the story she helped shape. Back at FMC Lexington, fellow inmates surrounded Julie with a strange cocktail of sympathy and respect. "That's cold," one muttered. "Even murderers get funeral visits sometimes." Julie nodded, but didn't speak. Instead, she folded the denial letter into a crisp square and tucked it into her worn-out Bible, slotting it between Psalms 42 and 43, two passages she had memorized by now, word for word. When she called Todd later that evening from the phone kiosk, his voice was stiff with rage. "They wouldn't dare treat someone from the Real Housewives franchise this way," he barked. "This is because we're us. Because we pushed back. Because we didn't just roll over." Julie didn't argue. She didn't have the strength to. "Let it go," she whispered. "It's done." Todd paused, then muttered something unintelligible before the call ended abruptly. Their 5 minutes were up. Julie had once walked red carpets. She'd worn Carolina Herrera to premieres and posted motivational quotes in cursive fonts on Instagram. Now she wore khaki and woke up to clanging cell doors and tray-fed oatmeal. And yet, in this moment, rejected, humiliated, yet somehow unbroken, Julie Chrisley found herself becoming something her reality show never truly showed: real. Because reality wasn't perfect makeup and neatly cut confessionals. It was a mother being told she couldn't hug her daughter on one of the proudest days of her life. It was watching her family change without her. It was holding her head up when the world had stopped clapping. Savannah's book launch was standing room only. She wore white, just like her mother used to for high-profile interviews, and spoke with a calm, rhythmic cadence. "She couldn't be here tonight," she told the crowd. "But she's everywhere in this book." Every time I doubted myself, every time I wanted to give up, her voice was there saying, "You were born for more than survival." The crowd applauded. Cameras flashed. But behind Savannah's smile was a bruise, invisible but deep. Because success without family felt like salt in a wound. Julie didn't get to see the book table covered in roses. She didn't get to hear Chloe call in from home to say, "Nana would have loved the cupcake bar." She didn't get to hear Grayson thank her from the crowd. But that night, when she returned to her bunk, she found a surprise waiting. A fellow inmate had printed out a photo from the launch, courtesy of a sympathetic guard. In the photo, Savannah was laughing mid-sentence, her eyes lit with a mix of nerves and joy. Julie stared at it for a long time. Then, with quiet reverence, she pressed the photo against her heart. The judge had denied her request. But in the quiet space where cameras didn't reach, Julie made a vow. She would be there for the next milestone. Not as an inmate with a denied request, but as a free woman. A mother. A Chrisley.